guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be highlighting and contouring. So I'm going to be showing you step-by-step techniques that you can follow yourself to get your face snatched and beat. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so when highlighting and contouring, you're always going to need 4 products. The first product is going to be a highlighting concealer. So this is always going to be a concealer that's 2 to 3 shades lighter than your foundation shade or your concealer shade. The next product that you're going to need is going to be a contouring concealer, and this is going to be a concealer that's 3 shades darker than your foundation or the concealer that you use on your face every day. Now these concealers are both from Morphe. These are the Morphe Fluidity, I can't say that word, the Morphe Fluidity concealers. And the lighter concealer, this is in the shade C425, and it has yellow undertones. I always use yellow undertone concealers and foundations because my skin has a lot of neutral undertones. Darker concealer that I'll be using is a Morphe Fluidity concealer as well, and it is in the shade C555. And this shade is, I believe, 2 to 3 shades darker than the normal concealer that I would use or foundation. So just always keep that in mind. The next product that you're going to use is a setting powder, and this setting powder is the Black Radiance True Complexion Loose Setting Powder. It is in the shade Banana. Now this setting powder is what you use to set the lighter concealer that you use to highlight. So it's always important to set your highlighter because it helps it sit for the whole day. So the last product that you're going to use when highlighting and contouring is a powder bronzer, and this is the ABH powder bronzer in the shade Mahogany. Now you always need a powder bronzer to help set your contour when you're done blending it in your face. Again, the point of this is to set everything and have it stay on the whole day. So let's get right into the video. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the fan because I'm getting a little hot. This lights are just killing me. I just do not need to be melting over here. Okay, so the area you always want to start off with highlighting is under your eyes. So you go ahead and use, I like to use concealers with this applicator because it's easier to apply the product. So I start off by marking a V shape under my eye like this. And make sure not to go too far down in the areas that we have to contour, so just try to keep it under the eye like that. Okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing over here. Get that V shape. And it doesn't have to be exact. As long as you're slowly putting it under the eyes, you're good. Okay, so the next area we highlight is the bridge of the nose. So that's down your nose. And when I do that, I try not to put too much, and I try not to go all the way down the nose. I just like to put it in the center and leave it like that, just because we don't want it looking too harsh. Now the next area we go to is the middle of the forehead, and I like to drill a V. And just do it around the center of your eyebrows, where your eyebrows kind of try to meet right there. Just always leave it like that. And if you have a smaller forehead like I do, you don't have a lot of forehead space, you do not want to put a lot of concealer, because then you do not want to go in the darker areas. So just try to keep it minimal around closer to the center of the eyebrows, like right here, this little area. Next place is the chin. The next area that I highlight, I don't do this a lot. I do it depending on the makeup look that I'm doing. If I'm doing a really defined, heavy look with dramatic eyes, I like to use this step. It is underneath the hollows of your cheeks, so right here, like that. Okay? Right underneath those hollows. So the whole point of highlighting is to bring forward those features on your face that you want people to see, that you want to stand out. Now next thing we're going to do is contouring. So the point of contouring is to create depth in those areas on your face that you want to be more hollow, to just look more defined and just look slimmer. That's the point of contouring. Now the first place that I like to apply my darker concealer is the hollows of my cheeks. So I like to do this so it can guide me to see where those hollows are. So I just go ahead and do that. And whenever you're applying your darker concealer, remember not to go too far that down to this area. You kind of want to keep it mid-cheek area, like where I stopped. Don't go too far down, because then when you start to blend it, it looks funny. The next place I like to go to is the perimeter of my forehead. So just slowly apply that there. And then I like to go to the temples of my forehead. So that is this area right here. And then I like to go to the sides of my nose. And the last place that I contour is my jawline. I just slowly follow that line. Just remember not to put too much. Now we're gonna go ahead and blend everything in. Now, for the sake of this video, I decided to put my highlighting concealer and my contouring concealer all at the same time. But if I am to do on a day-to-day when I do my makeup, I start off by applying the lighter concealer, blend it out, and then I put the darker concealer. So we're just gonna go ahead and blend that light concealer. And I'm using a beauty blender. This is the same beauty blender I used to apply my foundation, which is why it looks like this. Don't judge me, I clean my beauty blenders. It's just because I use it for my foundation. So we're gonna go ahead and highlight this to blend out this concealer. I think that the concealer had started to dry out, which is why I'm kind of struggling to blend it in. And now I'm just blending out the sides. Now that we're done blending in the highlighting concealer, we're gonna go ahead and use a fluffy brush to blend out the contouring concealer. And I like to do that in a circular motion like this. And each time I do it, I pull forward like that. I like to pull my hair back whenever I blend my forehead so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna go ahead and blend my jawline. Again, using the circular motions. Every time I blend the sides of my nose, I like to bring it all the way to the eyebrow. And then pull down. The thing that I do is I go in with a beauty blender and I blend in those areas that look harsh. So see right here where it just looks uneven, I like to go in with a beauty blender and just blend those areas out. So I just finished blending everything and that kind of looked uneven with a beauty blender. And now we're gonna go ahead and set our highlighter. I'm gonna go ahead and use that setting powder that I told you about earlier. I'm just gonna go in like that. Try not to pick up too much product. I accidentally picked up quite a little bit more than I wanted, but it's fine because I'll just blend it in. But try not to pick up too much because you don't want to look too white. I like to use the beauty blender to kind of draw a line on the sides of the nose, kind of where that contour that we applied meets the highlighter. I like to use the beauty blender to kind of define that area. Use the remaining product in the beauty blender to go down the nose right here. Do the same thing here. Anything extra that goes in places you do not want to go, it's okay to flip the beauty blender to the side and just use that area that has no product to kind of clean it up. Like that. And we're gonna let that set for a few minutes. While we're letting that set, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to also highlight underneath the brow bone. So you guys see the difference between this eye and this one? If you do see the difference, then that's the point we're trying to make. So now that we're done with that part, now we're gonna go ahead and set everything that we just put together. We're gonna use a powder. You always want to set your entire look with powder to just kind of bring everything together. Just have it sit there for the whole day. So I'm gonna use the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish powder, and this is in the shade Dark. I'm using a Morphe M400 brush to just blend that everything in. Okay, so I'm done setting the whole look with powder. Now the next step is gonna be setting our contour, and that's when we use the powder. That's when we use the powder bronzer. This is the ABH Mahogany shade bronzer. I'm gonna use an angled brush to do that. I like to use an angled brush when I want my contour to be really defined and accentuated. So I'm gonna go ahead. This brush is like to shade. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just set that, and each time I set it, I like to do it in a circular motion as well, and just pull it towards the cheeks, close to the under eye, kind of like that. I like to push it inwards. Perimeter of my forehead, jawline. For the sides of my nose, I like to use the same brush that I used to apply that dark concealer. I like to use the same brush. Oh, you guys see the bristles from the brush? It's ridiculous. And I just like to do this. I'm going to use the same brush that I used to apply the powder bronzer. I'm going to use that brush to apply the blush. Now for blush, I'm going to use Patricia Bright's palette with Makeup Revolution. This is her face palette, Dusk Till Dawn, and I'm going to use this shade for blush. I'm applying just a little bit, not too much, because it's really pigmented. And every time I apply blush, I like to blend it into the contour, so everything just looks even and seamless. This is the highlighter that I'm going to use. This is still the Dusk Till Dawn palette. And each time you're applying your highlighter, make sure you're applying it above the area where you applied blush. So slightly up top like this. Not here, but up top. So it's 3 layers. It's where you highlight, where you apply blush, and where you apply your contour. So close to those areas we highlighted earlier is where you want this highlighter to go. When I'm highlighting down the bridge of my nose, I like to use what I call the exclamation mark technique. So I highlight at the top, like really slowly. Like stop midway, kind of how we did when we were applying that concealer earlier. And then I like to come to the tip and then drop that right there. So it looks like an exclamation mark. Okay, that. And then I like to slowly blend it out with my finger. And I like to put a little bit of product here on the tip of my nose because it kind of lifts it up. Makes it look slimmer. I also like to use my finger to blend up the top like this. And set the whole look. Smells like gold. It smells so good. I love that setting spray. What else do you guys need from me? I think I'm done here. Y'all got your tutorial, so bye. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I was informative enough. If you guys have questions, if there's something I wasn't able to talk about, something I didn't hit on that you wanted me to talk about, please let me know down below in the comments. I would love to know. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.